What if you spend 20 years pretending to be someone you're not and didn't even realize it? I thought I just felt too much. Turns out I was autistic all along. In this video I will explain how I gained the knowledge that changed my life and might change yours. While I talk about this, I will make a new sticker design for my neurodiversity themed business. For this we have to go back to my childhood. As a child the world felt too intense for me. The lights buzzed, the laughter echoed, every sound was too loud, every touch too sharp. I didn't have words for it, so I escaped into my own little world. Other people like teachers would describe me as quiet. I had one best friend in middle school and that was enough for me. I was brought up in a family with a brother who got diagnosed with autism when he was very young, around 7 years old. He was disruptive in class. He often had meltdowns, so people around him like teachers wondered what was going on. He was my image of autism, a boy who trains and doesn't look you in the eyes. As a teenager, I would describe myself as highly sensitive. I noticed that everything cost me a lot of energy and I saw the connection with the sensory input I got that day. The possibility that I might be autistic never crossed my mind. I had a vivid imagination and I perceived myself as empathetic, so I couldn't be autistic. I began struggling with my mental health as a teenager. I would just feel exhausted from daily living. Besides that, my home situation was very stressful. As a way to cope with these uncertainties and things that felt too out of control, I developed OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. My general mental health got really bad. I remember one day bawling my eyes out to my mom and confessing that I needed help. A year later, I finally had an introduction consult with a mental health care. I explained my struggles precisely, got told I was very self-aware, and got told they wanted to test me for autism. I was like, okay, if you are going to test me, but I'm not autistic. A few weeks later, my whole perception of myself changed when I got this YouTube video recommended to me. It was like someone was explaining my whole life. I had the realization, oh shit, I might be autistic. The more I read about autism, the more I came to understand myself. A whole new world opened up to me. I had always felt different and now I finally knew why. I was not the autistic child that loved trains, but I did have my intense hobbies as a child. For example, I made a 600-meter long crochet as a child. I had to wait for my official assessment during lockdown. During lockdown, I spent all my time researching autism. I even made a whole document about why I might or might not be autistic. I later made a TikTok about this. And a lot of you guys relate to this. So it turned out I was indeed autistic. Here are some traits I recognize in myself you might also relate to. So I manually process every social detail. Instead of this going automatic, I have to thoughtfully think about it to know how to interact in a social situation. Observing other people, making friends is one way I learned how to be social. I copied this behavior consciously and applied it in my own life. Some time ago, I described my social identity as a collage of all the people I decided to be like. Another trait I recognize in myself is that my hobbies are very intense. I can spend hours doing something I love. And then I often forget to eat, to drink, to go to the toilet and those kind of things. The last trait I will talk about is that I have trouble identifying my own emotions. And these emotions are also very dependent on the sensory input I got that day. Looking back at getting this diagnosis, I'm very happy that I did. It made me understand myself better and thus helped me plan a life that is suitable for me, according to the sensory input I can receive that day. I wish that I got the diagnosis earlier because I think it would spare me some mental health battles. After such a diagnosis process, all kinds of questions come to mind. Do I really know who I am? Where does my autistic mess end and where does my own identity begin? What are the socially acceptable traits I learned myself to fit in and what traits are really mine. To this day, I'm still figuring out my social identity. What I do know about my identity and how I like to describe my identity is by the things I love. One such thing I love is my small business, where I make handmade stickers in the theme of Neurodiversity and mental health. And this sticker is now done. I don't expect to become rich by doing that, but it is a way to keep my chaotic mind busy. And I love the idea that now over 1,000 people around the world have a product with my design on it. If you are interested in my work, you can visit NeurodiverseTea.shop. If you're not interested, that's okay. But I have one more question for you before I go. How did you find out you are autistic? And if you think you might be autistic, what are autistic traits you relate to? Answer in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next video.